Okay, hello everyone. Gonna be doing a quick tutorial here. We're gonna be making a basic grabbable using UltimateXR. Let's just jump right into it. So we're gonna be making a little staff. Um, so I'm gonna create an empty object here called staff and create a cylinder. And then what we're gonna do is just position that right about where the hand is, and then we can start scaling this down just so we get a decent idea. That should be an okay size. I don't want to make it too big. I want to make sure the hand will fit around it. Say 0.05 on the X and the Z. We're going to leave the Y as it is. I'm going to scale that up anyway. There we go. Alright, decent enough. We don't need to make it crazy big or anything. And one thing I want to do, just to make this easier to work with in VR, I'm actually going to remove the capsule collider and just add a box collider. And this is strictly just so that it doesn't roll away from me or anything while I'm in my headset. This is not something that you have to do. Alright, next we're going to go back to our base object, the staff, and we're going to add a rigid body to this. We don't need to change any of the settings. We can leave everything alone. And next we're going to add the UXR grabbable object component. And the general parameters, we can leave that alone. Constraints, we're not going to constrain it in any way at the moment. Rigid body, we're going to pass in our own. Leave all these settings by default. The avatar grips, click on this little icon here, select our player variant. Come down to our grab points. I just like to name these, whatever name you want to have the grabs as. So I just kind of call mine my custom grabs. For the grip pose, it's just a cylinder at the moment, so I feel like we can just go with a standard grab pose. And then we're going to create our snap points for left and right. And you can see these were generated right down here. And that's going to put that up there. So now let's just move our staff over onto my little table here, just so we can get it away from the hand. And then we can come to our left and right grab. We can start positioning these where we want them. So we're just going to rotate that. And again, just position these any way you want. Move this pose down. And just want to make sure you get all the fingers so that when you're holding it, it'll look pretty good. Alright, that should be good. And then for the right grab, we can just copy from other hand. We're going to flip it. You can see that's right on the money. Okay, that's it for the Grabbable. Now let's jump in VR and see how it looks. Okay, great. That did work. The only issue we have is if this is a staff, then this is going to force us to have to grab the staff from the exact middle of the object every time we want to grab it, or use it, which doesn't really help us. Now, what we could do is we could come into our staff, we can come down to our grab points, and there is a section here for additional grab points. We could add another one. We can call these, I'm just going to call these secondary grab points. We could set another grab, set these, and then grab the whole parent here, maybe move it down here, and just start rotating these. There we go. Okay, and that would give us a second point that we could grab onto. And you could do this along the entire staff, and that would get it would get the job done, but it would be really, really tedious to set up. And there's a much easier way to do this. So we're going to remove those grabs. We're going to go onto our main object here, and all we're going to do, we're going to get rid of our secondaries, and we're going to add another component. Let's minimize this one, and we're going to add the UXR grab point shape axis angle. And automatically it's going to start populating the relevant data that it needs. So it's grabbing my custom grabs that we made earlier, and it's asking for a center. So what the center of this shape axis angle is going to be. So all we're going to do is create an empty object. I'm going to call this staff center. And if we watch, right, when we pull it in here, we can already see the line right here. We're going to give it that transform, and now this is on the z-axis for the staff itself. We're going to go along the y-axis. So if we just select that, you can see this line is now rotated along the correct axis that we want. Now this axis is basically any point along this line is where we can grab. So if we extend this line in either direction to encompass the whole thing, we'll be able to grab anywhere along that line. So I'm going to set my values here to 0.6 on the negative, and you can see that line is now extended all the way out to about here. And then on the positive, you can see it's still short right here. We'll set that to positive 0.6, and that comes all the way over here to the end. Now, I'm not going to go all the way to the end, just because I've noticed that if you grab it at the very end here, your hand may look like it's actually, it's almost off the staff, and it just looks funny in my opinion. So for my personal preference, I have to go a little bit short, in a situation like this. I'm also going to select bidirectional. This way it'll allow us to grab in any direction with either hand. It's going to look and feel a lot better once we're in the headset. And that's it. That's literally all we have to do. So all we did was we added the component, we gave it a center, it automatically grabbed our grabs, make sure our center axis is correct, and then adjust the offset min and the offset max to encompass our entire object. That's it. So let's jump back in the headset and we'll see how that looks now. Alright, that is all working and looking really good. So guys, that's going to conclude the tutorial for the basic Grabbable using UltimateXR. If you have any questions about anything that I showed you here today or anything else, feel free to drop a comment below and I'll do my best to answer it. Or better option is to hop into the Discord for UltimateXR, and there the community is very helpful, can answer just about any question you have day or. And remember, the key to immersive VR is just about experimenting and fine-tuning. So don't hesitate to try out these settings and try to fine-tune them to get that perfect interaction that you're looking for. And thanks a lot for tuning in, and I will see you guys next time.